Right, this is the Logitech G502 Hero gaming mouse, and as many other people have experienced, has a little bit of problem with the switches. As in, one of the switches or both the switches develops a fault where when you press and hold it down, it registers like a double click, which is discussed all over the internet, and it is a common problem. And it's just a problem with one of the switches. This is one of the older switches. I'm not sure how much detail you can see there, but essentially you can take the switch apart and clean it, but there's a few guides about how to do that. But I decided to go on eBay, find a pack of switches straight from China, which is more or less a direct replacement, different brand. You can see there, probably can't see it very well, but it's a different brand of switch, but fundamentally does the exact same thing, clicks. So what I'll do today is dismantle the mouse, remove the old switch, and pop a new switch in. So it shouldn't take too long, but it's fairly straightforward to do. Just need to have the right tools, but it's fairly straightforward. Right, to start off with, remove the pads, which I've already done, the sticky pads. There's various guides on the internet already, on YouTube, on how to do that. And then there's just 4 screws, which I'll just pop aside there. 2 at the top, 2 at the base. And then you should have a plastic opener, which I don't, so I just use the flat bladed screw to kind of just peel the casing open, which probably isn't the best thing for the mouse, and the mouse is going to end up in the bin anyway. Okay, just have to be careful with this little circuit board for the side buttons, which does tend to sort of stick to the upper case. I think I found that with a bit of manipulation and some scratching of the plastic. I'm trying not to do a destruction video, but okay, see the board is still stuck up there. So I'm trying my best to keep the mouse in view, but it's not easy when you're trying to wrestle with something. Right, there we go. So there you go, the top part of the mouse has now come free at the bottom. There's a little dangly circuit board. But for, there's other more detailed guides on how to take the mouse apart. So check that out if you are struggling. So you can see I've got the 2 switches. Notice that the right click is now a white switch. That's the one I had replaced previously, but now the left click is now starting to be a bit funny, so I've got some more spare switches to replace that one with. So first of all, not sure if this is reversed or not. Yeah, it looks alright. Yeah, I think the image is reversed, but I'll sort that out in post. Okay, so first we need to remove the wheel assembly, which is literally a simple case of, there's a little tab you can see across there, which just essentially slides through a pivot point. So just remove that. Might be easier to remove that board first. Use my tweezers to help me here. Okay, just a little tab. Not sure if it'll focus. Little tab which just holds the mechanism in place, and now the mechanism, if you just gently lift it up, because there is a spring in there, so it comes free. Set it up on side, and then you want to take the 2 springs which are at the front here, which is part of the scroll wheel mouse clicker. Binged off the table. Okay. And the second one, put that aside. Okay, next of all, you take your flat bladed screwdriver and you want to flick up the tabs, securing the ribbon cable of the side buttons. Okay, once that's up, you can then remove the side switchboard. Likewise for the second ribbon tab at the back here, this is for the sensor. Just gently lift the tabs, which then releases the clamp for the ribbon, and there we go, that's now free. Okay, switch now to Phillips head screwdriver, and then just want to remove the securing screws for the motherboard or main board, whatever you call it. So 4 screws. Watch the tripod. So there's 5 screws. There's 2 holding down the mouse wheel mechanism as well. But I'm sure there's a better detailed tear down video than what I'm doing right now. Just quickly want to get to the switch. Okay, now this housing will lift up, and now the board should lift out like so. I won't bother disconnecting that wheel, the cables for the main lead. So anyway, this is the switch in question, so I'll be removing that. Hold it a bit closer there. Get my orientation right. So this is the one I'll be removing. It's been playing up for a couple of days now. I thought I'll just swap it over like I did with that one, because that one's been working great. Looks like it's a Boya branded switch compared to the Omron, which is the faulty switches. So hopefully they'll have a longer lifespan than these. I'm not sure what happened with Logitech, where they had a bad batch of switches, but this is notorious for this clicking issue. But you know, Logitech being a good big company, they probably don't really care. Right, so definitely make sure I've got the right switch. So we want to take the switch there, flip it over, and see these 3 terminals. 1, 2, 3. So you want to sort of remove the solder from those. I might just zoom down a little bit more. So I'm no expert at doing this. So again, it's these 3 here. 1, 2, 3. So I've got my trusty cheap eBay soldering iron. Not very exciting. And a solder sucker. Or solder vac, I'm not sure what the proper name is. So I'll just begin by gently melting the solder on the terminals and then sucking them up. Normally takes a few goes. Don't think I got that one. Try and keep this in frame. Normally takes a few goes because it's a pain. I might save you the pain of watching this and skip to it. Right, I'm not sure what happened to the audio on the camcorder feed, but it's not here, so I'm recording this post-video, so you have to bear with me if I get a few things wrong with the video. So basically what I was saying here is regarding the switch. I just wanted to show you a quick look at the old switch and the product code as well, so it makes it easier for you to order them yourself rather than put it in the description. So what I'm pointing to here is obviously the empty space where the switch was, which was a nightmare to get off. It really, really was a difficult job. But perseverance, and I think I damaged one of the pads, but it'll be alright because I think there's enough of the top pad to carry the signal of the switch. So here I'm just putting the new switch in place. It won't go all the way through because there's still a little bit of solder left when I took the switch out. It's always difficult to get all the solder out. So what I've done is put it in place, and now I'll just get the soldering iron and just heat the back of the pad, which will then allow the new switch, just to pop through and locate the pins. So hopefully it'll just pop through now. Yep, there we go. So all 3 pins are now popped through, including the damaged pad. Bit of a shame about that, but it did take a long time to get it out. So there you go, both switches are now in place. So I just need to pop some fresh solder on those pins just to finish the job. So I'm not sure what I'm quite waffling about there, but it'll be probably some mumbo jumbo. So here we go. Anyway, so just tin the tip of the soldering iron, which I did have to clean because it was very dirty. And just try and get the best position so you can see it and I can see it. As you can tell, I'm a complete novice at doing YouTube videos, but I'm not looking to make a career of this. Just wanted to help anyone who's looking for some guides, which I couldn't find any myself. Okay, so just putting some fresh solder on the new switch pins. And that third one there, the far right, is the one with the damaged pad. So I'll pop some solder anyway, so it'll flow through to the top of the pad. But the bottom pad there, I think, is more just to help hold the pin in place. But I think the actual electrical contact is on the top of the pad, which is on the other side of the board. So I got away with that one. But it was so hard to get the switch off. The first switch I replaced was fairly straightforward, but the second one was a little bit fiddly, but perseverance and just battling with the soldering iron finally got it in place. So there you go, both switches now in place, all freshly soldered together. And just checking the clicking. Clicks fine. So now it's about reassembling the mouse together. Oh yeah, this is the old switch, which I took apart to examine, and probably can't focus on it here, but fundamentally what the issue was on the actual contact of the actual switch. There was a little bit of corrosion, or I wouldn't use the word arc, but something happened which caused like a discolouring of the copper. It turned to like more of a silvery colour. I'm sure there's a few guides on there where you can actually take it apart and sand it down, but I chose to buy some new switches because they're only a few quid on eBay anyway. Right, it's all assembled back together now, and it does indeed work. So the switch is now fixed. Just need to find the other spring. There's 2 springs propping the wheel mouse up. I lost one the last time I did it, and now I've lost the second one. Still works, but it's not going to be very springy. But the new switch does work fine, which is great. I was worried about, because I spent so long trying to get the switch out, that the worst thing happens, the heat then pulled the pad off the circuit board. But anyway, 2 new switches. The 2 white ones there, they were blue. But fingers crossed these will last longer than the Omron ones, which were only in there for just over a year. So fingers crossed. So right, I need to go and find this other spring, which will probably be impossible, but I'll try anyway. Alright, thanks for watching. Hope it helps.